everyone, thanks so much for coming through to this video today. So glad to have you here. Please do subscribe if you are new to the channel, and thank you for coming back if you've been here before. So today we're going to have a go at painting this acrylic giraffe. It looks so much fun. The picture above I created using AI just so that we can use it as a reference and go on to paint our own. So for today you'll need a square canvas. It doesn't have to be this size, you can do a smaller one. This is a 12 by 12. I will put a traceable on the website for you guys, and some of the paints you'll need, I tend to stick with the primary colours and then mix any other colours we need. It saves you money on paints and it really helps to learn colour mixing. So we've got here is it's a bright green that comes with the set that I buy. It's called a mid green. Here we've got a lemon yellow, which is like a hansa lemon yellow. Here is medium yellow, same as cadmium yellow. This is cyan blue, which is the same as phalo blue, magenta, Quinacridone magenta, ultramarine, which is the same, titanium white, and this is scarlet red, which is cadmium red medium, roughly. So as long as you've got something like those colours, then you'll be good. I haven't done a practice, so I'm not totally sure where I'm going to go from here. We'll see what happens. Yeah, let's get started. Before we do, you will also need, so you'll need those paints obviously. You'll need a palette of some kind. I've made mine using a basic tray palette with a flat sponge in and some baking paper around it. That way, as I'm painting, my paints shouldn't dry out. So this is like a homemade stay wet palette, but you can buy them on the internet. And for the actual painting I have got ready, a large flat, a medium flat, 3 different rounds and an angled brush. Now if you buy the kit, you'll have all of this there for you. I may pick up my own versions of these brushes from my kind of professional artist set over there, but just to show you, there is a painting kit below and you'll get those standard brushes in. We may use them all, we may not. Let's just see how it goes. I'm really excited about this one. So much fun, it looks so much fun. So we're going to go straight in, I think, with the medium flat brush, and we're going to mix up a nice light blue. So we're just going to take some of that phalo blue. I say phalo blue, it's cyan blue, but could be phalo blue for you. And we're just going to keep mixing white until I've got a really nice pale blue. Now I just want to put down a very, very pale blue. I'm going to keep adding white until it's an almost not there blue. Okay. And what I want to do is kind of just put one layer over the main body of the giraffe so that there's something there. We just don't want to be going straight onto white. And then we'll have something, if we need to have an area that's white, we'll have a colour there to actually paint white onto. I always like to do a bit of a background colour first. Well, not always, but sometimes. Right, so this will be the area. I'm just going to block out using this with my flat brush. I've got it loaded with paint, and I'm just going to block out roughly, you don't need to do it perfectly, where my giraffe is going to be. Then we'll come in and do the background. You'll still see the pen underneath, which is fine, the pencil, because it will disappear as we put layers on. So we will be doing lots of different layers. Now I do recommend you watch the whole video through, especially if you are new to painting, so that you can see what's going to happen next, what's coming, so that you're prepared, and also you'll know where to pause when you need to pause. So yeah, if I'm going too fast, just pause me, and especially if you are a very, very new beginner, I'm going to add a bit more white into that. Just make it really clear. I will go over the eyes a bit. You just want to get that base layer of some kind of colour down. That's quite a dark bit there. And put the shape of our wonderful, colourful, comical giraffe. And this is the joy of painting, is that we can bring colour to our art whenever we want to. It's, you know, we don't have to represent things exactly as they are in real life. Okay, so we've just given a nice bit of a base coat for our giraffe, just putting where the eyelashes are going to be there. So the background colour, I am going to go in with the blue again, but we're just going to go in with a slightly darker version. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that up again, but with a bit more of the blue back into it. So we're just going to come around and paint the entire background that nice blue colour. Don't worry too much about getting the lines perfect against where the giraffe was drawn, because when we paint it, that's when we'll be more accurate about everything anyway. Just going to put some water on my brush. If you feel your brush is sticking on the canvas and not spreading the paint round, you probably need to put some more water on your brush. Don't worry if you're getting different shades of that blue either, because we'll be adding other colours into the background as well. So it won't really show up, it won't matter. But we just need to make sure the canvas is covered. We've got no white canvas showing. I'm just making more and more of that blue. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly the same shade, it's fine. There we go, a bit more water. There we go, make sure you get your corners and your edges painted in. Don't miss those edges. This is not a edged canvas, it's a flat board canvas, but I do love these because I frame them in deep edge frames and they look absolutely brilliant in the deep edge frames. So you can do that too. These can make great gifts, so if you're learning to paint, get them in a frame and then you can give it as a gift. People love to have homemade gifts, and why not give your friend who might be a giraffe fanatic your painting of a giraffe, your nice bright colourful painting of a giraffe. So when you're doing this as well, you might want to put some music on in the background. These are meant to be sort of fun and a bit of mindfulness time, a bit of switch off time. No stresses, just that's the joy of creative hobbies, is that you have to concentrate on what you're doing. Therefore you're distracting yourself from all the problems of the world and the thinking and the overthinking and all those things. So it's a great place to come to. Okay. So again, don't worry about being too specific about staying in the lines, like I'm not perfect around there, because we'll go over it anyway and define it better. Gonna need some more of that blue. Just keep mixing it until you're happy. You've got the right sort of colour. That's a bit dark, a bit more white. And let's hope we've made enough this time to finish. Let's get some water on my brush. I'm just using a kind of flicking motion just to kind of get the paint going in. Put my finger on there. Just holding it still as much as I can, just while I go and do those edges, because if you do put a frame in, you might actually see although it's only a board, you might just see those edges a little bit. So it's good to get them covered. make sure it's just a professional feel, especially if you're going to give it as a present. Hope you can hear me. I do go quiet when I'm painting, so I sometimes forget that there's people out there that need to hear me. So I do apologise if you can't hear me. It's a hot day today and I have the window open. Hopefully you won't hear too much of the noise. I live in a pretty quiet area, but you know, get the odd noisy person driving past with their music blaring, which is fine. Anything that makes you happy. Right, nearly there. There we go. Last bit, so we're just going to come in carefully around the face of the giraffe. There we go. That's it. So we've done our first layer. We've done the background layer, and we've done the background layer of our giraffe, which is still very close to white, which is great. So I'm just going to check now that I've covered most of the white canvas. You know, sometimes you can have, because it's quite toothy, sometimes you can still have some of those. Get some water, some of those canvas marks showing. Oh, we've got someone whistling outside. Okay. Right, there we go. I think I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh, just went to wash my brush and got water all over the canvas. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Rookie error. And I shouldn't be making those errors, but we all do. So I tend to use a big plastic tray, like, you know, the little lunch boxes, because to wash my brushes, because when I'm on camera and painting, sorry, and washing the brush with the glass jars, oh, must be so annoying on the other end to hear the jingle jingle. So rattle rattle with the jars, so I just don't do it anymore. I've just got a nice plastic lunchbox, but because it's wide open, you can have that tendency where the brushes will kind of splash everywhere, and we don't want that too much. Right, so I'm going to give that a dry just to make sure it's all dry before we come in with the next layer. Okay, that's almost dry. Main thing is that our giraffe part is definitely dry. That was the bit we did first, wasn't it? Okay, so there's quite a lot of orange and yellow on here, so I think I'm going to go in with the orange and the yellows first. So use your angle brush if you have one, or if you've bought my kit, use the angle brush, so it's just the angle there. And we're going to take a little bit of red with our medium yellow, and we're going to make an orange. Okay, and it's quite a bright orange, a little bit more yellow, and we're going to come in and kind of mark in where the mouth is, because there's some orange right here, and that's what the angle brush is good for, when you just want to get a line down like that. Okay, so already you can see it's very bright. I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to draw this line here, and we're going to mark in this part of the head, which kind of comes up from this side. So if we come from here up to here. Okay, now please remember, all paintings have an ugly stage. So if you're looking at it and you're thinking, whoa, what is going on? It's the ugly stage. That's what's going on. Okay, so don't panic. I'm going to add some more yellow to lighten it up a bit, and then we can start to play around with filling in some of the areas. So some of these, I don't know what you call these, horns. I think I'm going to go for orange with. Remember as well, like, although I'm using that as a reference, I'm not necessarily going to stick to it completely, but I will definitely be as close as I can, just to make sure we get it how we want. Now remember, try and make sure there's not too much paint on your brush, but enough so that you've got a bit going on. Right, so I'm going to just come and make some angled shapes around there while I still got the orange on my brush, and then I'm going to come around and also just do that eye shape there, and I'm going to do the same here. Okay, just do that eye shape, get the eye shape in. Let's come and get some more yellow. Right, so I think I've got quite enough yellow in, but so I'm going to come around here and we're going to kind of, that's it, just make those eye pocket sockets at the top kind of feed in a bit to the top as well. Okay, so it's kind of feeding in that way, and then here we're going to put this bit of orange in that direction there as well. And you'll start to kind of see, the more we paint, as it's coming together. So if you just paint some of these strokes, I'm going to get some more water on my brush because I can feel it sticking to the canvas. Remember I said if it's sticking, then you need to get some more water on your brush, and we're just going to make it flow into that shape, that nose shape there, horn shape. And same here, it's kind of going to go that way and then that way as well. Now the orange colour is a bit more transparent, but we're going to build up the layers, so you won't see that after a while. It will look very transparent. Right, here where we've got that orange, I'm just going to come in with another layer just to kind of blend it up, and in a minute we'll have the yellow there. Do the same here for that stripe. Right, just washing my brush out, and I dry it a little bit on a cloth at the side, always handy to have that too. Coming straight in with the yellow now, because we're going to lighten up some of these mouth strokes here to try and create that mouth shape. There we go. Again, it's quite a transparent colour, so Luckily it still looks bright, but we're going to come in over the top of it anyway and make sure it's as bright and vibrant as it can be. Wrong yellow. We have got both yellows out. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them both. I kind of like that mid yellow. It's more of a warmer yellow. There we go. And if you try to brush in the direction that you're wanting the shape to look like, that's a really good tip. Okay, so we're going to get some more of the yellow here, and I am now just kind of marking in colours and shapes so that we can go over it in a minute. So we're going to come up here with the yellow and kind of join it in with what's already there, because that's all it is up there, is just kind of an orange and yellow mixture. So we can do that, and we can start to kind of come right up to the top as well. They're kind of fluffy, those things at the top, so let's just feed some of that up there as well. And we're going to come around here. Might do a little bit of yellow just on the top of that ear there. I might just do it on the other side as well. It's not on the main picture, but as I said, we're not going to worry about that too much. Right, I'm going to bring some yellow up here, just showing that that part of the head is joined to that part, and the ears are kind of coming from behind. That's good. Going to get some of that yellow, just add a bit of white. Just want to lighten it up a little bit. We could use the lemon yellow, but I want it to sort of be a bit more of a natural progression. So if you use the same yellow and just lighten it a bit, it will feel more natural. There we go. Can you see that? That's brightened it up lots. And we'll bring some down here. I'm not, remember, copying the picture. I'm using the colours as a guide only, and in the areas where the colours are shown on the picture, but that's it. I'm kind of just doing my own thing. It's fun and just going with it. We'll see what happens, hey? We'll see what happens. We'll go over with that lighter yellow over the nose a little bit, especially at the top. You can see that lightens that up a bit as well. There's some yellow down here, so let's just put a bit of yellow in there. Comes across where that orange is and down a bit, and then kind of comes off. And there's a little bit here as well. So we're just making shapes, giraffe skin colour type shapes. And I think his mouth is a bit pointier on the actual picture up there, so let's just make it a little bit pointier. That's better. And actually we want to get rid of that red, went around the side a bit far, so we want to get rid of that a bit. That's better. Happier with that. Although it wasn't red, was it? But it was an almost red. It was that orange there. So just going to do a little bit more of that again and just come down to a point a bit more. I think that's better. Yeah, that's lots better. Okay, so there are some bits on here that are red magenta. So we'll start. We are going to run out of palette space, but it's fine. I can always make another one up. So I'm going to mix a bit of the red and a bit of the magenta as well, which comes up with a really nice magenta red. It's kind of not magenta, not just red, but it's a bit of both. It's a really nice deep kind of colour with a pinkness to it. So we'll do that, and I'm going to start coming around here and around here. And start bringing some of that in there too. Still looks a bit orangey. I want it to look more magenta, so maybe I'll just get some more magenta there, kind of bring it round like that. So there we are. That's looking a bit pinker. That's great. Going to bring that round here. and around here. On the nose, be nice to have some of that nice fiery pink colour there. Kind of coming round a bit. Around here. And then up round here. Okay, that's the magenta coming in. There's also some of it down here. Coming round and down here. This is lots of fun. We're just literally slapping colour on. How much fun is that? You can't go wrong with slapping a bit of colour on. I'm just going to put some patches on of colour now. Put a bit there as well. Slap a little bit there. Bring a little bit round there. There are lots of colours mixed in on here, so we may not go that far, but we're just going to have a bit of fun and see where it leads us. Okay, a bit more pink there. But the joy of this is, you know, there's no right or wrong because we're just having a bit of fun. Just going to see what works, what doesn't work. We're going to do a nice kind of line of pink coming around there, I think, to shape our giraffe's ear. So you can already see that it's starting to take shape as a giraffe. I think I'm going to use the magenta, maybe with a bit of white. And we're going to kind of flick the eye around like that. So you can see the eyes sort of coming to shape now. There we go. Try and make them even-ish. And then we can have maybe some of the eye coming around like that. And just showing that the shape's kind of coming that way. The direction is important. The direction you use your brushes in is important. We'll come and do like the lashes and that. There are darker, final darker layers. So we're kind of doing a mid-range colours now, and then we'll add the darker light colours in at the end. Really loving using that magenta. I think what we'll do is combine it with some of the cyan. We'll make purple. Let's make a purple, and the cyan and the magenta make a really nice purple. At the moment it's dark, so I'm just adding more and more magenta until we get to the shade we want. A bit more of that pink. I say pink, it's magenta red, but it's pink. In my eyes it's pink. Right, so I've got lots there, and there's a lot on my brush, so I'm going to take as much off it as I can. And then we're going to come in and start filling in some of these shapes down here because they are purple. Just start adding some of that layer in. This is why I say you don't need to buy every tube of colours out there as long as you've got your 2 reds, your 2 blues, your 2 yellows and black and white. I happen to have the green. You don't really even need that, but because we can make our own greens. But it's quite a nice kind of bright, vibrant green. It's not the type of green that you would expect like in nature or anything, but it's great. I love it. Right, so here need to have a bit of purple there. We're going to have, looks like there's quite a lot of white that side, so we won't worry too much. We almost need a bit of black purple, so I'm going to just do that here quickly, because then I can come in and kind of make the mouth shape, which isn't completely black, but it's not completely purple either. There we go, can you see that? And then there's another bit down here that is kind of black, and that's coming up, so just gentle strokes. And then in there's kind of a pink shadow, so we're just going to put magenta in that space. I'll just wash my brush off a minute. Okay, I'm going straight into the magenta. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, and we'll come back and do some more of that magenta. We're going to make up some more of the blue that we had before because there's still bits of blue in there, but much darker. So let's come in with some of the blue now. And there's a bit of blue here, just marking in that side there. And there's lots of shapes of blue on the face, let's face it, so let's just put them in. I'm just basically building up patterns and shapes, giraffe patterns and shapes as we go. So just blocking in and making sure they're still kind of going in the direction of the face. Might just put this blue down here as well. That's nice. And a bit down here. Let's do that as blue. He's basically just going to be really patchy, like a giraffe should be. So let's put some shapes in here. Remember, it doesn't matter where. And also, you can watch this back and you can learn from anything I do that you don't like, because at the end of the day, this is my first go. And along the way, I might say to you, don't do that. Do this instead. So that's why I always say, watch it first. Sorry about that noise. My son's upstairs and he's incapable of being quiet. He's off college today. Right. There we go. They're coming together. And we're going to come around and up. And we're just going to kind of do that gentle pulling the paint up a little bit, just to kind of guide the inside of that ear. We'll do the same over the other side. It's a nice colour that, so I'll keep running with it. Kind of doing the same at the other side, and we're just using the brush to, and pulling the end of the brush. I haven't got much paint on my brush and I'm just pulling it upwards. Okay. So just going to wash my brush off now, because I want to come in with some darker blue. I might go straight in with the ultramarine for this. I'm just going to come in where my purple was and kind of add that dark blue onto it. I think it just gives it a little bit of added dimension. Do the same here, just a little bit. Right, and there are areas on the face where there is some darker blue. So we're going to just put that in as well. Again, I'm just putting it in wherever I feel I want to put it. There's a touch of black in that area up there. It's quite dark because it's the bit that's under the ear. So we're going to do that mixed black and blue. Okay, that really helps to give us the sense of shadow. And again, I'm just sweeping it over like that. And by having the blue background underneath, we've already got some kind of colour there, so we don't need to worry too much about being perfect with the background. So yeah, it's always good to have some kind of undercoat colour. I'm running out of space on my palette. Right, so we got the pink there. We don't want to go over that, but what I am going to do is just kind of come up from here now. We've gone from that lighter blue and we're coming into the darker blue here because this is the underneath bit. Okay, and I'm just kind of dragging it up with my brush and joining it into that other blue. And we're just showing shadow by doing that. Actually, there is a bit of purple in there as well. So we'll just add some purple to that. And we can always come over it with a lighter colour after and put the light in if we want to. But I'm quite happy with the way that looks. Quite happy with those mixture of colours. There's a bit of purple here. We want to mix some purple in. If there is, you can't really see, it's quite dark. But... Right, so now what I'm doing is I'm stepping back and I'm looking at bits where have I missed, what do I need to add in. So I really want to make some pink marks up here. For some reason they look a bit red on my screen, and hopefully they'll look pink when you're watching it back. That's the deeper pink. I just want to come back and make sure I've definitely got them in as much as I want, so they really look lovely and vibrant and pink. that's the problem, is you know, they can be a bit transparent. So sometimes I'm using the point of the edge of the angle brush now. Sometimes it's nice just to turn it over and just use that point to come down and do a little bit of detail. But I don't want, the smaller brush you have, the more detail you will do. So I'm not changing to a smaller brush because I don't want it to be too detailed, because at the end of the day we are painting a very multicolored abstract giraffe, so it needs to be, that's how it needs to be. It needs to be loose and big stroke brushes and all of that kind of thing. Coming in again with some of this orange, I'm just going to come up and go over some of the patches of orange here as well. We can just have a little bit coming down there, and this here, we can have that as the lighter yellowy orange colour. Come in with just yellow. There we go. Be careful, that's a big splodge. That's fine. Okay. So where we have that line in the middle, I want to come in there now with some really dark, this is where the shadow is, yeah, this bit here. So that side needs to be a bit darker than that side, and we're just going to bring it into the pink bit. That's better, it's coming together better. And then we'll come back to making some more of that orange, still quite a reddy orange, but it is orange nonetheless, and bring some of that over to this side, because we don't want him to just have this big red lump there. Now I am coming in with a little bit of black with the red, because it's so dark on this little bit here, it needs that shadow in there. We need to put the shadow in there for it to come to life and look 3D. Now you might think that's not black up there, but it is very so dark, it's like a very dark red, so we need to get that in there and get that right. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in with some of the magenta just as it is and try and get that blended in there a bit more. Okay, that's fine. We will come in with white highlights at the end, that will be the finishing touch. So this green is very, very vibrant, so I am going to just flick off some white, lighten it up a bit. It almost becomes like a nice minty green. That's why I chose it. I don't normally use that green because it's not very natural. Like if I'm doing things in nature, it doesn't look right. I might just do a slab there, because we are just putting the shapes in now. I might just do a bit of a line there. So this, although this is a really fun lesson, it's not going to be, you know, you probably won't want to copy me exactly, because I'm doing random strokes all over the place and it's going to be quite difficult to follow that exactly. But I would say use the same colours in the same areas, that way you've got your lights and your darks and you'll have a better feel for the 3D-ness of it. I just want to come in and draw a shadow. I think I'm going to paint in there blue rather than black to start with, and then we can darken it up, just using the point again of the same brush. I try not to change my brushes too much because I'm in the flow, I'm having fun, so I don't want to stop. But I do normally on most paintings use my angle brush. I just love painting everything with an angle brush. Okay, so there's a little bit of a shadow on there and then another bit down there. So I'm actually really trying to be very careful and skillful with the edge of the brush. And we're introducing that up there into the face. And then that becomes a part of the pattern as well. And it comes up here too. Okay. And then on the other side, it's white. So we don't really want to blend that in just yet. Now I am going to try and just smudge that colour out a little bit, because it will kind of smudge into the yellow. We don't want it to be like a perfect line. I'm going to go in with my smaller round. Well, it's the biggest round, but it's just a small brush. And I do think I want to put some black in there, just to kind of darken it a bit and make it more 3D. Can you start to see it coming together now? I hope you can. I hope you're enjoying it. It's very difficult to loosen up with painting because you feel like you have to put this there and that there, and that's why I like to do these fun and bright, colourful pictures, because we have to be loose with it and we have to just put down randomness wherever the randomness wants to go, and that is you. That's you just putting it where you want it to go, but bearing in mind the value, which is the light to dark. Value is everything in art, so you need to make sure that you've got your shadows in and your lights in, and then it will pop and come to life. And that's what I love about art. It's like magic. You're painting along and everything looks a bit strange, and then all of a sudden it just comes to life because you've popped in your darks and your lights after you've done all your mid-range colours, and it just looks amazing. Now we'll come in and put obviously a little white line on the eye to make it look a bit more real than it is. I'm going to come up and over a bit as well there, just to create some shadow, some shape. Let's paint in the eye on this side too. Okay, and I'm going to come over as well, over the top a little bit, and then around and over here. Okay, looks a bit grumpy, doesn't he? Or she, could be either, whatever you want. What are you going to call yours? I think I might call mine Glynis. I have no idea why, it just came to mind. Glynis the giraffe. Oh dear. Have I had too much coffee today? Possibly. Well, tea. I don't drink coffee. I've had too much tea. Right. There we go. So I'm using the point of the round brush to pop in some fun eyelashes. Giraffes do have the most amazing eyelashes, don't they? So we're going to pop those on. Look at that. They're better eyelashes than me. Love it. Absolutely love it. Oh dear. That's fun. That's really lots of fun. Okay. So that eye has got pink on it. That eye has got a bit of blue on it. So I'm just going to come in and just get a bit more blue and add that in over there, just to be a bit funky. Why not? It's got different eyes. Each side is a different colour. Why not? That's what I say. Right, I'm going to start to come in with some of the white and lighten up some of the lighter areas. Okay, so I'm using my round brush now because I do want to be a little bit more careful and more detailed than I would be with my angle brush, because this is where we can start to tie everything together and keep it really nice and tidy the edges. Okay, so if you were wondering at the beginning what on earth was going on, hopefully it will start to make sense to you now. Don't really want that there. Let's have some white here. Okay. So I am going to come in with the white as well at the top, because what's going to happen there is the really, really dark against the really, really light white is going to make it pop. Okay. There we go. And we're going to do the same over here. There's quite a lot of colour on this side, so we need quite a bit of white, but it will probably mix in a little bit with what's there. That's fine. It's only because it wasn't properly dried, but actually it means that the blend is a bit more realistic because we've got a mix of colour. There we go. I left a white gap at the top, but I do want to come in and go over. I want to have some white around the top. And then I want a nice border here. So this is where we're being a bit more careful where we're putting our white in, and I want the white to come all the way around because that helps guide the shape of the curl of the ear. So we're also going to do the same here, curl that round with the white. Don't think I had much white on my brush then. There we go, and some more white there, and we're going to come all the way up to the top like so. Get some more white on the end of my brush because it's a bit watery and it's not going down very well. I'll just have to go over it again once it's dried. Okay. One thing I did miss is getting some of the blue into the top parts of the giraffe. So let's do that now. We're just gonna, oh, it's too light. It's too light. I want it to be darker at the top. There we go. We're just going to blend that down into the other colours. Doesn't matter if they overlap because that just makes it look like a natural progression anyway. Do the same here. That's good. And maybe a bit come down a little bit. It doesn't do that on the picture, but I quite like the idea of that. Just having a couple of little bits that come down. So what I'll do is come back with magenta and make that look as though it is actually feeding right up into the top of those. Need to make sure you've got quite a bit of that magenta for it to show up. Layer it on thickly. That's fine. We'll get some of the yellow as well. We don't want to lose all the yellow. I want to get some of that yellow coming up as well, like so. I'm just holding the brush at the end because although I want detail, it doesn't need to be too detailed. Just coming in as well with some of that over here, just wherever. Don't think about it too much. Then we're coming back into the white and we're going to just put some nice highlights in wherever we want them. As you can see on the giraffe, there's some nice white bits all over the place. So just do that. I'm just going to dry my brush a bit because it was a bit too wet. If it's too wet, the paint will, of course, just be too transparent, too much like watercolour. So just have to be careful of that. Just coming over to the eyes and just putting some shapes in, still going in the direction of the lines and patterns that we've already done. And yeah, just having fun with it now because it's starting to look more and more like it should. Bringing it round and coming up to the top here and up around here and around here. And up around here, and that white helps to just create more pattern. Up around there. Got a bit of black in there, but I actually quite like that. A bit more white here, and just kind of tidy that shape up a little bit. Right, we'll come around the side here now because there's quite a lot of patch here. There's more white on this side, so I have a feeling that the light was coming from this direction. Well, that's what we're doing it as anyway. So we can put more white on this side and not worry too much. Just to create more shapes. There we go. And just come around all the other ones. Again, make sure there's not too much water on your brush or it will be too see-through. Now remember, we've got that light blue behind anyway, so that's really helpful in giving us something to show the white up from. So I'm going to come here and here. Bring some white into the nose a little bit. Little line down here. Maybe some little patches here. Little patch up here. And some little patches up here. Around. And we'll do the same over here. The more of these little light patches you put in, and the more kind of real it will look. It'll look like there's some like really nice highlights in there. We'll put a few in up here. The paint's still a bit wet there. That's nice. Just a few up there. Okay, we've gone over these ones here. Oh, there's some yellow on my brush still. Actually, that looks quite nice. Happy accident. We will get some more of the white though. So there seems to be less white on this side, I think, on the AI, which is probably, as I said, because they were aiming for the light to be on that side more. And then we need to get this, and actually this is also still coming round here to this point. And a bit darker there. Okay, so now we can just, because we have those base colours, we can just go in and kind of fill in any bits that we want to do with the colours and go over any bits that we've missed. A little bit of red in there. The orange needs to be much brighter underneath. I'll put red there now, so maybe we'll just lighten it up a bit with some yellow. Make it more orange than red. There we go. As I say, we don't need to worry too much. We don't need to be perfect about this. It looks like I won't have to get another palette. That's good. Right, so what I am going to do now is just blend that red up into kind of a nice blended shape into the yellow, so that it doesn't look like, oh hello, we're yellow. And just kind of mix that up a bit. So we had those nice dark lines there coming down, but on this side, which I've said because of where the light is coming, that's going to be more white on this side. There we go. And coming down like that on that side. Very, very loosely. And we'll come over here like that. And down here. And up there. A little bit there. Yeah, definitely starting to look like a giraffe, but this face on this side for some reason is a bit darker, is a bit sort of more shrunk. So what I'm going to do, I think it's supposed to just be, I'm going to come out a little bit to make it look a bit more even. Getting a bit worried about him looking a bit skinny on that side. Oh, her mustn't forget, it's a her. Right, and then what? There's a bit of light blue down there, so I'm going to come up like that with the light blue. Not too sure what I think about that. Don't like that bit down there, it just doesn't look right. Let's go for some chunks of darker colour. I'm just going straight in with some of the ultramarine. Give that little patch there. That's supposed to be light blue there, but hey, it's fine. Yeah, we will put another bit of dark blue there, because his face just sort of seems to disappear. There's not as much on that side, and it's fine because that's how it is in the picture, but I don't know, just feel like it needed a bit more padding out. But it is darker there, so we can only do what we can do with that. It needs to be dark. Just going over the green bits, making sure that they are nice and vibrant, not too watery or see-through. Same with this purple up here, we need that to be nice and thick. We don't want it to be watery and see-through. So if you've got any colours that have come out a bit watery or a bit see-through, then do go over them. We want them nice and vibrant. It's okay if you want that area to be quite light and pale, but you probably don't really. Hang on, I'm going to do that eyelid a bit lighter. That's better. And then we're going to do the same then with the magenta. Bit of white in with the magenta. Just doing it on the brush now. There we go. That's kind of opened their eyes a little bit. Put a little bit of light pink here as well. So I think that was a bit too dark. And a bit there. That's fine. And let's go over this bit here that was pink. That's fine. I think I just want to get some white and kind of fill this in a bit more on that side. There, that looks a bit better. I was so worried. I was like, it doesn't look right, but it's fine now. It could like come out a bit as well because we have on that side just a bit like that. It's better. So, I mean, do it how you want to do it. I just felt like it needed filling out again before it came back in to look more even. We're pretty much getting there. So now I'm going to go over everything and make sure I've definitely got all the colours I want. We're neatening it up a little bit in places. I'm just coming in with the ultramarine on its own up here, just to add in some shadow. Okay. I'm going to make some more orange because I just want to go over some of the orange and make it really nice, clear, kind of fine lines, a bit lighter. I want like nice, see what I mean, just some nice lines. We went over and did our first layer of those colours, but I just kind of want to go over it and make it clearer. That's better. And here too. I mean, we want it to be painterly. We want to see your paintbrush strokes in this. This is that type of painting, but I also want to kind of block in the areas a little bit better. It's around there, and definitely on the neck. Let's get some of that going around. Lovely. Now we've got the background as just blue, and you can obviously leave it like that. What I'm going to do, I think, is just come in with a few little painterly strokes using my biggest flat brush. I'm going to use the big one. The bigger the brush, the looser the strokes, remember. And we'll just come in and let's just create some kind of just marks in the background. All right, just like that. Let's get some more colour down. So we'll make some more purple. Remember that was cyan and magenta. So we'll probably need quite a bit of the magenta to make the blue purple. A bit more. Purple actually is one of my most favourite colours. So we're going to come down over what we've done. It's too dark, so we're going to go in with some more magenta. Make it more purpley. Okay, we might just add a bit of white as well. Okay, and actually I'm just going to go in now with those different colours on my brush, because as you can see they just create some nice grades of colour. Okay, put a bit down there. Now I'm going to come in with just the magenta. Where's the magenta? It's got a bit of purple attached to it, but that's fine. So yeah, just come in and create some magenta lines wherever you want them. It doesn't matter. Just be creative and have some fun with it. Again, you can just leave the background completely blue. It's absolutely fine and totally up to you. Just going to cross over with the purple on some of them. Might just come in a bit closer as well to our giraffe. I'm going to make some of the lighter blue again because I quite like to get some of those marks in. It needs to be quite light because the background obviously is blue. So I might use all of that white up. I'm just going to use the brush as it is, got loads of paint on it, and then just make a pattern. Okay, we can go over the other colours, it doesn't matter if they mix a little. In fact, happy accidents are fun. Get it coming off the corner as well, you see, there's not much at the top, so let's do that. Oh, itchy nose. What I'm going to do now is swap over to the smaller flathead, because we can come in now and just do some little versions of all those. Yeah, and just dot around some smaller versions. Fun, fun, fun. And then I think we probably need some yellow in here too. Just some really little yellow marks, because we've got quite a bit of yellow in the main image, so we don't need too much. And over the blue anyway, it starts to look a bit green. We could put a bit of the orange on. There we go. I'm just doing like little versions of that now, just to dot around. It's fun. Just using the end of the brush just to get that little sense of shape. Now you could do the background where you do like loads of splashes and things like that as well, so it's completely up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to come in as well with some white, just white. Hopefully it's just white. It might have a bit on there because I'm on the edge of my white now. I haven't got much left, so I'm not going to bother putting any more out. But, and then if you go over, I quite like that look where you get the little ones on top of the bigger strokes with the white. It's kind of just as an emphasis on the white, like that. It will take on some of the colour of what's already there, but that's okay. That one's got a little stripe in it. Let's go down here. So I'm stepping back, I'm looking and thinking, is everything evenly kind of doubled around? And I think it is. And I'm stepping back and I'm looking at the actual giraffe and thinking, have I got everything where I want it? I am going to put a bit more out, because actually a bit more white, just a little dribble, because there are some areas that I can see that I'm going to use with my flat brush, and I'm just going to come down again and go over with the white, because it needs to be more white and it's not white enough, if you know what I mean. There, that's made a big difference. Okay, maybe just come over here a bit more with that white. But otherwise I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, you know what we haven't done? Silly me, we haven't done the dot on the eyes. We do need our giraffe to be able to see, which means they do need the white bit in there. I'm just going over now some of my strokes where I might have put highlights, and I just want to make them even more powerful, really make them stick out. Can you see how that white is really punching now, making it pop? And there was a bit up here, a bit around there as well. So I'm just going over those areas and completely kind of trying to redefine them a little bit. And I do feel as though, although there is green in between those blue bits, I feel as though it does need a little bit of that white, just kind of to bring like those cells out, the kind of cell shapes, aren't they? I'll just go over the mouth again a little bit with that pink. Go over the pink here. So again, I'm not doing anything new now. So you could stop here and just finish off your own painting. I'm just going over some of the strokes that I've made to make sure that they are the right colour, that they are strong enough, that there's no transparency, that they're nice, clear, bold strokes. Overall, I'm quite happy with that. Just need to get this colour and come in and make this lovely shape here a bit more exaggerated. And there is some little blue marks up here that I kind of missed and I want to put in now. That's fine. But otherwise, I'm saying we're done, because otherwise I'm going to be fiddling around with it for ages and I'll just make a mess of it. I do actually want to get some purple in here. I don't want it to be, quite vibrant. Let's dry it and then we'll paint over it again. Okay. Yeah. I want to do the same actually over here and just put a little bit of like purple shadow in, because that just seemed to be a whole lot of white, so we'll just mix that in a little bit. And this purple here was actually meant to have a bit more black in it, meant to be a bit darker on that side, like that. And then this was meant to be much darker on that side. So we're creating the shadows now, final shadows where we want to have them. It's just going to be darker down here because the head will be above that. It's darker here in the ears because they're overlapping. So it's always going to have that kind of areas where they're overlapping and you're creating shadow. And come up there, up there, a little bit in there, a little bit in here. I'm really just playing now because I'm having lots of fun. So feel free to stop whenever you want. I'm trying not to ruin it, but yeah. I just want to put some more purple down so it's nice and thick and vibrant down here, because it is quite transparent, that purple. Not there, I want that little bit there just to be a little shimmer of purple, but up here I want this to be loud and proud purple. There, I'm going to call it done. So please do subscribe. You will be able to get the painting kit, which will be listed below. I'll also make sure there is a free traceable over on my website. There's a section for kits and there's a section for the printables, so you'll find the links below. Please do make sure you click the notification bell. Please do leave a comment, anything that you'd like to say or add to that fun painting tutorial, and have a great day everybody. See you in the next one.